Welcome back to Hope is Here. My name is Greg Horn. We're having a wonderful conversation with the founder of the Good Samaritan School in New Delhi, India, Dr. Anathi. And I know so many of you are thinking, well, I really don't care about going on a mission trip. Hope God doesn't call me to do that yet. I'll tell you what, I've learned a lot over the past 2 days, and you need to hear this amazing story of how God started this school through this humble daughter of his, Anathi, who winded up going on and getting her PhD, and just some incredible difficulties that she overcame starting this, and it'll put your life in perspective quickly, I promise, if you will go back. And especially yesterday's program, so many times we try to do things for God and we get discouraged because it gets a little bit hard, and we think, well, God, if you're in this, it should be easier. And yet if you think about all that Jesus went through during his 3 years of ministry and the persecution and the religious leaders, he did not have it easy either. So if you want to be encouraged about maybe some struggles you have in your life, you would be really blessed. I want to encourage you to go back and listen to yesterday's program and even the first one. They're only about 14 minutes long. You can find all of those programs on our website. It is simply at hopeishere.today. That's hopeishere.today. All right, Anathi, so to fast forward to where we're at, you're having 600 students meeting in this building. It's in between two restrooms, a men's and women's restroom. You're having to clean up defecation and just awful messes every morning. You've got 2 shifts of students because the building, the area you have, is not big enough to do it all in one shift. Finally, the slum commissioner says, hey, this is getting too big, and he sends you to the director of education. Is that correct? Education commissioner. Yes. So what happened next?
Yeah. In the education department, first they wouldn't accept my file. And because they said these reasons: you cannot pay the teachers because you will have to depend on donation, and donation will not be always coming through. So you can't say that you can get donation and you can run the school. So we cannot pass the file. But somehow God spoke in his heart, and he's realized that I'm genuine and I want to help the people. And that officer came to our place, visited the education officer, visited the slum school, and they started helping me. Wow. And the officer came to my house and my garage office and sat there and prepared the files. And no file can come back, so he prepared the files. At the same time, God was working. He knew we needed finances. And he sent one senator from Lexington, Tim Philpott, and yes, he came and he visited our slum school, and he realized that we need a school. And he shared it with 3rd graders in Lexington Christian Academy. And 3rd graders teacher, Nancy Elwood, she mobilized her children to pray in the school and at home that these children who are in the toilet complex will have a school. And one was Dale Ditto, his son, and Dale Ditto came to India with International Cooperating Ministries head Joyce Rosser. So they didn't want to go to see one of the world wonders, Taj Mahal. Instead, they wanted to come and see the slum school for which his son is praying. I knew Joyce Rosser, so they came, and then finally they asked me, what do you want? I didn't know what to ask for sitting in a toilet complex. I just smiled, but one of them, Bert Reed, he said, what does she want but a school? So they said, you plan for a school. So against all hopes, we planned for a school. I told the architect, I want a big school, many rooms, because many children will come. There are so many children in the slum who cannot go to school. And
so not everybody gets to go to school there, right?
Yeah,
it's a privilege. Yeah, it's not an opportunity for all kids, correct?
Yes, at that time. So then we started working. And working with that, and first offer for land, for purchasing of land came from Joyce Rosser. What at that time they wanted. But by the time I could get it sanctioned in 1 year, the cost became 3 times more. So 2 more people offered to help. So with that, the officer said, you have to pay in 90 days, ma'am, otherwise you can't pay the interest. And we paid it on the 80th day. It's
Wow.
God's miracle. And then we started, and when we started, we had the papers done, paperwork done, and the plans made, but there was not a single penny with us to start the building. And we were praying. Our children, all our children will go to that place, and we will stand in round every class with the teacher, and we will fast and pray. All the children prayed that they will get a school. At that time, one day I was so sad, and I was coming in. There was a letter with a good handwriting, and I opened. There was a check for $800. It was from Leslie Littrell, whom I didn't know. She said she heard that we are building a Christian school, and so this is their offer. She never knew it was the first offer. I just took it, knelt down, because first I thought, I can't build a school with $800, but then the Lord said, you thank for that, and I knelt down and thanked the Lord. And after I thanked the Lord, within 10 minutes I got a call from South America. Doyce Rosser was there, and he said, you know, Ananthi, the McDonald's are going to give you $250,000. My God, it was all miracle. And then when we stopped, that time one young man called Preston came to India to be with me. And I asked him, I'm not able to write to them. They are saying they will pay only half, and I have to raise the other half. I don't know how I will raise the other half. You help me to write letters. So he contacted his father, Jess Correll of First Southern National Bank.
First Southern National Bank, which is here in Central Kentucky, yes.
Yes, and they all started raising help for the school.
Wow. So, I want to, sorry to interrupt you, but I think this is huge. You got the $800 check, which,
yes,
is nice, but, you're looking at several $100,000 to build a school.
Millions.
Okay, millions. All right, I apologize. And yet, just as a human being, and that's what I love about you, you're so authentic and real. You're, thankful, but at the same time, you're like, come on, God, $800, I need millions. Yet, God, spoke to you and said, be thankful for this. Yes. So you humbled yourself. You said you got on your knees and prayed. And I know there's somebody listening right now that, you've got an overwhelming, maybe financial situation. And yet maybe God's provided, a meal or a gift card to a restaurant, or maybe you've just gotten $100 check and you need a $10,000 check for a ministry or a bill or whatever it is. And I just want to encourage you to be thankful like Ananthi was. I know in our flesh it's easy, and I've been guilty of not appreciating small things, but I think the Lord has shown over and over that He wants us to appreciate the small things, and then when we show that we are appreciative and humble, then He knows He can trust us with more. And then honestly, through that is faith. And I love that there's a Central Kentucky tie, First Southern National Bank, Lexington Christian Academy. You get a $250,000 donation from McDonald's in South America, but you still need millions. So keep telling us how it came.
Yes, in 2005 we finished that project with the International Cooperating Ministry and River Foundation as the major donors. And they collected money from many willing people who wanted the slum children to have good education. So it was a $4 million debt-free facility.
Debt-free. $1 million debt-free.
Yes.
Love it.
So many times I thought we will take a loan, but God did not allow that. And Jess Correll said, no loan. We will work hard. God will provide. And Doyce Rosser was telling me, you go on. God will provide. God will provide. And that helped me to go in faith. And so fully we finished. By the time the slum toilet complex was demolished and the children were thrown out, and where they shifted, we helped them have their own huts built, and we were conducting the classes on the streets and street corners. We were conducting the Christmas programs. And when the school was built, the children just rushed in and said, this is our school. And they sat in the classrooms. And they were so happy. They owned the school immediately. And we had our teachers, and then we had the systems established, everything established. And, we had to get the approval from the education department. That was also a miracle, because we couldn't get through that. And I told the teachers, unless we fast and pray, nothing is going to happen. So one Friday we fasted and prayed, and every day we were fasting. By next Friday, we got the approval in a very, very peculiar way. One day people came, and they were from the education department. Went out to see who they are. They said, "We want to see you, ma'am, and we are not able to see you. 3 days we are coming." So I said, "You please come in and talk to me." And immediately he took the phone and gave it to another person. That was the director of education. He said, "Ma'am, we want to have a meeting. We want your school, because it's a new school. You don't have desks and benches." And then I said, "Oh, but bathrooms are not ready. Our toilets are not connected yet." But immediately, within 2 minutes, I was talking to another man, and he said, "I am the minister of education, and if you give your school, we will be helping you one day." So
Wow.
I agreed. So then I was called by the director and given the approval. Same way, from the Delhi Development Authority, we got the completion certificate. The same day, within hours, we got the certificate. And that was all God's miracle. On our knees, we got all the blessings.
Well, and the thing that you said, and I know that there's some churches I've heard recently that are doing it. One, a very large church here in Lexington that is doing a fasting and praying time. And in this church's history, I'm not familiar that they have done it. I was speaking with one of their longtime members, and the Bible talks about it, and I confess to you that's not an area of strength to me. I've done it a couple times for mission trips for a day, and yet God does move when we fast and we pray, and here you all were doing that. And like you said, I can imagine going through government bureaucracy, if I'm saying that right, and to get the phone, like you said, handed to the right decision maker after getting put off forever, and then things just starting to roll. But it was a battle of faith, wasn't it?
Yes, it was a battle of faith, on our knees, and trying to go forward, only depending on the Lord and looking at Jesus. Whenever we looked down, we stumbled. But whenever we looked up, we could go forward.
So it's like Peter getting out of the boat, when he took his eyes off Jesus, he started to sink.
Yes.
If you all looked at your circumstances.
Yes.
All right, so when was it that, help me, the timeline from the day, the year that the first boy came and, wanted some bread, something to eat. When was that? What year was that?
It was 1990.
1990?
89 December and 90 January.
Okay, so 1990, and then when was the school finished being built? What
2005.
Year? 2005. So wow, a 15-year journey. That's absolutely amazing. Well, we're going to find out about how many students they have in our next segment, and Leslie Littrell is going to sit in with us. She's a member of Centenary Methodist Church, and she has led mission trips, been a part of those, and we're going to hear about that and hear more from Anathy. But if you've been listening the last few days, you're like, man, this is powerful. I want to be a part of it. You can sponsor a child for only $40 a month to provide education for a child in the slums in India. That's just really going out to eat a meal one night here in Lexington. Unfortunately, it's gotten quite expensive, so you could just sacrifice one meal a month and provide for a whole education for a whole month for a child in India at this Good Samaritan School in New Delhi, India. To find out how you can be a part of that, go to their website, FOTGS.com. That's FOTGS.com. Stay with us tomorrow as we're going to conclude our wonderful conversation with Anathy of the Good Samaritan School on Hope is Here.
CMI is your full-service human resources provider in Central Kentucky. For 15 years, CMI Human Resources has taken great pride in helping organizations and people work. Whether it's employee handbooks or help in filling a position, no job is too large or too small for CMI. Contact the professionals today at CMI Human Resources, 859-296-2800, or online at cmiconsulting.com.